My name's Josh, and this is Brave Bear Farm. Welcome back to the farm. It's been a long time since I've shot a video, and I'm sorry, last year was a crazy year for my in-town job. It's just a lot of craziness going on there. I was working crazy hours, so didn't have time to shoot a lot of videos. Honestly, didn't have time to do a lot of the stuff on the farm. We had a pretty unsuccessful year last year on the farm. Just a lot of things got dropped and a lot of things had to get pushed to the side just because of time that we were spending doing other things. So we've been back at it now for a while now, trying to get things going again and getting back up to where we want to be. So today I just decided to do a video. So last year, right before we put the goats and the sheep in the paddock over here close to the farm, close to the barn, we put them here close to the barn, keep them close, and we feed them a big bale of hay, round bales of hay over there. When we were rotating them out here on our pasture, the last time I moved them, I got too close to my Premier One netting fence and with my zero-turn lawnmower, and I tore it all up. As you can see, just tore it all up. I've already started making some repairs, and I'll show you some details on some of those and how I do it. So first off, so when you buy a Premier One netting fence, they send you with a bag like this for each fence that you buy, and in that fence it's got the repair stuff that you'll need, because I guess they anticipate boneheads like me that are going to cut their fence up with a lawnmower. It's got the just plain nylon cord that you'll use, and I'll show you where we use that some, obviously, because not all of this cord is electrified. Not all of it's got the metal in it. Again, this is the bottom of the fence. I won't actually need any of that today. I think all of my bottom is still pretty intact, but that's what they put on the bottom. And then they put two of these, one black and one, it's kind of a greenish color. Put two strands of that in. That's your poly braid. It's got just metal strands. I don't know if I can, where's my camera? You see the metal strands there a little bit. There you go. So it's got metal strands woven into that same nylon cord. And then they give you these crimp rings right here, which are good when you're crimping onto a section of wire that has not been cut, because they're open right there. Metal crimp ring that's open on one side, and so like when I fold it, I'll fold one half down first and then fold the other half over on top of that to try to get a good seal and lock between two cords. Now this is the other thing that I use. Sorry, somebody wants to move out there. But another thing that I use that is pretty inexpensive, and you can go get them at any box store, but they're called crimp rings. They're little barrel crimp rings. It's a little round like that. Okay. You usually are using these when you're wiring a switch or something like that, and you're putting all your bonds together, all the ground wires, and you crimp those together. A crimping tool like this right here just goes inside there, and you squeeze it and it crimps it in. Okay, so I use that when both sides are broken, because you've got to be able to slide something into this in order to get it in. So, all right, so on this section of the fence, this section here used to be connected to a little section over here. So this one's only about that long. So I didn't have a whole lot extra. So what I did is just cut another short piece and I crimped it on both sides. So I used that barrel, slid it on one side, slid the other piece in, and then just crimped them with that crimp tool. Okay, side cutters, whatever. And then I did the same thing over here just to kind of give that, because otherwise I would have had to come over here and kind of tie them, and that would have made that section of wire shorter than the section above it. So try to keep the sections the same length, so that it doesn't just mess up your fence. Anybody that's put one of these fences up knows sometimes you got to kind of take a wire and run it across the top to get it all to stretch out right and not sag down low or something like that. So you want to try to keep those sections as equal as you can. So next time, now we're going to move over to another. All right, so this section here, so the vertical pieces of this are this hard plastic. It's like a hard vinyl plastic. So I cut a section of that off and it was completely gone. So what I had to do, so I'm missing that section from there to there. So I had to take some of that white cord and I tied it to the base of that black cord. And I took that black cord so that knot won't slide up and down. I took that cord, twisted it just a little bit till I could run that nylon rope through it and then tie a knot at that spot right there. And then I'm actually gonna cut some of that off and I'm gonna melt that with my lighter so that doesn't look so bad. I'm gonna do that now. I'm gonna cut. I got a little pair of these scissors here. They do all right. And then lighter, just to try to melt some of those there. So now I'm working on this section right through here. So these are good. This one I just fixed. So I'm gonna cut that off too. That's just extra. I had tied some knots here, but it ended up being a little shorter than that. I may leave it until I know. But so this section here I had to bring over from this side. This whole side was missing, so I had to bring a piece over, and that's where the clamp over ones are good. I'll show you that in a minute. All right, I'm trying to get you where you can see this. It's really hard to lay this out anywhere else but on the ground. I tried to do it up on some pallets where I could stand and do this, but this stuff gets tangled on everything you do. So you just kind of got to stretch it out on the ground and just work with it where you can. So what I'm dealing with next is this section here, okay? It comes all the way from over here, it crosses over the white, and then it's going to come short. It should attach right here, but as you can tell, you see I made a repair there once before, but there's not a whole lot left here. So what I'm going to end up doing is I probably should have ran that. There's a hole through that piece right there. I didn't realize that hole was still, I could have ran that white nylon cord possibly through that if I'd ever got it through there, but I may tie it off with something, another wire of some kind. But for now, I'm trying to get this section all the way over to here, but because this section is so ratty and small, sorry, the camera's on I'm going to cut that all the way off, and I'm going to take a piece all the way to that right there, and that's where we need those open crimp sleeves that come with the thing. So what I'm going to do is cut this first, cut this old barrel off that I had put on before. This is where I say it does all right. Doesn't like to cut the metal. Okay. Now this one we can, because it's going to fall short right about in here. So I'm going to cut this all the way off as well, because I'm not going to use any of that. I'm afraid there's not enough metal in there, because if there's not enough metal, it's not going to continue to conduct electricity through it. So I just end up cutting it off. I'm going to cut it off right at the edge. I don't need it. So now what I'm going to do is to take another piece I'm going to start with my crimp sleeve, and I'm going to run it through with my crimp sleeve. Okay, and then I'm going to take this section and run it through the other side of the crimp sleeve. All right, so now they're both in there. What I like to do once I've done that is tie a little knot in it on each side, if I can. Okay. You don't have to do this, but I don't always trust the crimp sleeve that it's going to continue to hold up over time. So now I've got that crimp sleeve on there for that section there. Take my crimpers. Just fits right inside there like that. Pull them both tight. And then squeeze as hard as you can. Now you can tell, just put a dent in that crimp sleeve, and now it doesn't really want to slide back and forth like it was doing at all before. So that's that section. Again, that piece is going to tie off somewhere in there, probably with a zip tie. That's my best guess because I'm a zip tie guy. All right, so now, because I cut this section off, it wasn't fully there anymore. I'm going to go across that knot here and attach it to that right there. So again, I'm going to need to use that crimp sleeve that they gave us. Open end right there. It's kind of a U shape. So again, I'm going to do the same thing. Got to try to stretch this out as best I can to know where it should go. So it looks like it's going to be about that long. So here I want to cut it a little longer again so I can tie a knot on the end. All right, then holding this where I want it there, take this one. I actually like to wrap it around here. Again, the more connection I can get with that wire, the better off this is going to conduct. Now I'm going to try to do this where you can see it. I don't know if you can be able to see it or not. But again, I try to fold one end down. Squish that and then just fold the other end over top of that. Kind of close it up. All right, now we've kind of got that taken care of. All right, got us a small little zip tie. We're gonna zip tie that joker right in. I wonder if it'll go through that. Oh, it will. That's awesome. Zip tie went right through that little knot, that plastic knot thing there. So I'm just gonna zip that down there a little bit. Love my zip ties. All right, so now that's another section kind of dealt with. It's not perfect, but it's not gonna be perfect after you run over it with a lawnmower. All right, so again, now we're coming back to this section over here. We're going to use another zip tie to secure to this nylon section here. And I'm going to do the same thing so that this doesn't slide back and forth. I'm going to twist this nylon rope here, slide the zip tie through it, and then tie. I'm actually going to do the same thing on the braided cord so it doesn't slide much on that either. Now it's secure. All right, and that's the idea. I'm just going to kind of keep working here, and once we finish, you'll see what it looks like. I'll stand it up and we can take a look at it and see how it looks. It's going to look horrible, but at least it will hold in an animal. All right, we're going to see if this works. So I'm running out of these U-shaped crimp rings that they come with. And so it makes it hard to clip something on to something that's not cut, something that's not broke at all. So I'm going to I just took one of those barrel ones that I've been using, and with these scissors, I'm not at all sponsored by these, but they're Crescent Wise scissors that I get at Home Depot. Awesome scissors I use at my work and everything. So these things really work well. But those cut that copper crimp sleeve and made it kind of a U. So we're going to try and see if we can't do the same thing with these that I'm doing with those other ones as well. But this section kind of flops, so I want to kind of bound those together so that they both are together, and we'll see how that works. Pinch that one side down. Oh, that works awesome. So that worked great. I'm going to see if I can't crimp it more as well, like I normally would crimp it. That I am quite pleased with. I'm able just to cut those with these. So this is what I was talking about before, how we're going to have to stretch it out to make sure that we had everything right. This one's too long. So what I'm going to do, I was going to cut all of it out and kind of start over, but I think I'm just going to loop it back over itself, just like that, to tighten it up and put another crimp sleeve over it, just like that, to keep it the right length. All right, so that's the undamaged section of the fence. This is the damaged section now. Like I said, I just doubled that back on itself, crimped it down. It's good. I have to make sure it's good and tight through here, and that that's not dragging the ground, because if that hits the ground. So it's not perfect. Doesn't look nearly as pretty as it used to, but it is all back together. I just went to the gas station to get us some fuel. Everybody knows the prices of that right now. I'm going to clear out a path, actually set the fence up and put a charger to it and make sure it gets good charge. All right, so the fence is up and in place. We've got the charger set on it. We're going to test and see what we get. That's pretty darn good. All right, looks like all the way through the fence we're getting about 6,000 kilovolts, something like that. Yep. So moral of the story is, don't drive your zero turn near this fence. We actually went and bought a push mower really specifically for this kind of work. This and just cutting some weeds and cutting some near the road that our zero turn can't do. So welcome back to the farm. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope this helped somewhat. I know it was kind of a pain for me the first couple times figuring out how to work all this and get it all put back together, but you can repair it, you can fix it, it will work again. So as frustrating as it is to screw it up and run over it and do something and to tear it up, it doesn't mean you got to throw the whole thing away. You can repair it and fix it and get it right. And we got a lot more stuff coming, guys. We've started a vermicompost. Oh, I'm going to say that wrong every time. Vermicompost. I don't know. Worm farm. How about that? We got a worm farm coming, or we've already got that in the works. We started that in January. We've got eggs in the incubator right now. We actually had to make some repairs to our incubator, so I can show you some of that stuff. And when the new motors come in, we'll do that as well. My fault again. I screwed up the incubator, so I got lazy with stuff and didn't put stuff up away. I've preached it myself. Make sure you put stuff up right. I didn't put it up right. Water got into my motors and tore up my motor. So But hey, subscribe. We got a lot of stuff coming. A lot of stuff coming down the pipe. Hope to try to start getting out a video every week. Then please hit that like button, subscribe. We'd love for you to be part of the Brave Bear family, and look for more videos to come. Thank you, and we'll see you again soon on the farm.